Hi, so this is a different kind of video that I've ever put out. People have asked me about my story, my testimony. This will include some things that people might not find appropriate. So this is, if you're just here for the food, this probably isn't the video for you. It's not going to be all lighthearted and happy-go-lucky. It's gonna get kind of raw and deep and just talking about some of my past issues. So if you're not open-minded to hear people's previous experiences before they come to the Lord, then this is not the video for you. So this is a judgment-free zone. If there's any negative comments in the comment section, I will delete them. I am a child of God. I love Jesus, and He's forgiven my past, and I've forgiven my past. But that's what this video is about my testimony and how I've gotten to where I am now. All right, thank you. I love you guys. Good morning. How are you doing? I just wanted to touch base with you all. You know, it's kind of a weird year. I mean, it happens anyway. It's kind of a weird year. We've got the election coming up, and, we're coming off COVID, but now, if you watch any news, you hear monkeypox is here, and whatever your feelings about all of that stuff, that's not what we're here to talk about. But what we are here to talk about is that we need to try to not dwell on those things. Because for those of us who know, and those of us who are believers, we know that in the end, we know, Jesus wins, God wins. So I've had people ask me my testimony, so to speak, and I haven't really thought about how I'm going to say it or what I'm going to say. So I'm just going to say, and listen, I got PCOS, so this is part of my routine sometimes. So I grew up in a Christian household. I went to a Christian school. It was Lutheran. We went to church every Sunday. I went to, like I said, we had religion class. We had memory work, all the things. So I grew up knowing Jesus. I grew up loving Jesus. And so I've always been a believer in Jesus. As I got older, like my late teens, I got a little resentful, and felt like it was forced on me, and I didn't have a choice in the matter. And so as I got older, I rebelled, and anyway, so, but I was overall a good kid, didn't party or anything until I hit about 21. So at age 20, 21, I started going out, I'm going to use this term, socializing with people. And it was, I guess I'm just going to say it, men who I was dating, and socializing. And so, if you look in the Bible, they talk about the biggest sin for it is to the human body is, a sexual sin. So, like I said, I don't know what a person can and cannot say on YouTube, and I'm going to hope that my mother doesn't watch this and have issues. But anyway, so that 21 is the age when I became a woman. And like I said, at the time, I was impressionable and young, and I'm a slow, how do I say that? I'm a slow maturer. So I was not mature at that age. I'm 52 and I'm more like a 12-year-old, if that tells you anything. But anyway, so I was definitely not living a godly life. And so then at 26, I met my first husband, and we did get married in the church. He would go to church with me, but he and I did not live a godly life. We weren't swingers, nothing like that. But we just online, a person can find videos of other people being intimate. And I think that's also a word that you cannot say on YouTube because I hear people block it out. So he and I, while we were married, would go online and watch pre-recorded videos of other people being intimate. Okay. So that was a part of our marriage. And so that marriage, again, not godly, not living out our walk with God. And after almost 3 years, we ended up getting divorced. He had a girlfriend. And he wanted to go out and drink. And so we just were not compatible. And so then we decided, okay, we're parting ways. We talked about counseling, but he didn't want to get counseling, and I knew I didn't love him like I should love him. So I really hoped that he didn't want counseling. And so we parted ways. So 8 years I was single. And because of the things that we did watch online, I continued to absorb that stuff, garbage in, garbage out. I continued to watch that stuff. And I met my second husband on a site that was dedicated towards inappropriate things. And so, again, anyway, it doesn't matter. So we met on a website. And so he lived 8 hours away. So I moved up there. I lived there for a year, and then we got married. And then after a year, he decided he wanted to live a polygamous life. And I don't even share my food. So I was like, no, I'm going home to my mama. So I did. And so I've been back home ever since. So that is a part of my life. And again, in that marriage, we also partake in watching pre-recorded couples. And so, again, that has always been a part of both my marriages. And so, even when I first moved home after that divorce, I still was watching that kind of thing. And it was something that I felt I needed in my life to watch. And so, fast forward, I went to church with Mom, moving back here. I went to church with Mom. And so, why does that feel gummy? And so, but I never really felt like I had a relationship with God. My whole life I've known God. I've just never had a relationship with God. So anyway, so I'm back home, and for several years I fight it. I go to church with Mom, but it's just outside. It's just outward appearances. Then I started, COVID happened, and I started watching other churches online. I just never, because of my short attention span, because of it's the church I grew up in. This is going to sound really dumb to some people. If you listen to the Bible, Jesus said that, how do you say it? A prophet is never accepted in his hometown. Well, it's the opposite for me. I was always accepted in my hometown, but I was not accepting of my church in my hometown. I always knew that there was something I was missing, that relationship. And I just was not open at my hometown church, I think because I had so much resentment to my home church, not because of anything bad that happened in the church, but just because it's where I grew up. When I was a kid, I'd hear the organ playing, I'd act out, and then I'd have to be carried outside to get a whooping because I was a bad kid. And so I don't regret, I don't have any negative feelings about the fact that I had a whooping because I was a bad kid, really a bad kid. And so just fidgety, and they'd tell me sit still. So I was just a hyper kid. So I don't have any, it's not that I have ill feelings about the church itself, but when I hear the organ play, when I hear those old songs, it makes me regress, and it just affects me. So anyway, so when COVID happened, it allowed me to explore other churches online. And so there was one church that I really liked, and I went a few times. And I went and I enjoyed the people. I enjoyed the pastor. It was, so I started going there a little bit. But then I ended up, it just in the end it was fine. But then a friend of mine and her husband were also in the process of looking for a new church. And so she's like, hey, come with us. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. So I started going. Hang on, I got these new nails and it's hard to open this. Okay. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I started going with her, and that's where I go now. And I love it. And so it is, it's the kind of church that you go in and people are standing around in the waiting, or I don't know if you call it waiting room. It's like a big movie theater type setting, so people are all in the I don't know, like in the open room when you first walk in. There's people just standing and talking, and before you get into the door, you've already been greeted by 3 people outside, 2 people right on the inside, and they're genuinely shaking your hand like, hey, good to see you today. And so it's all very, very welcoming feeling. And so, I gotta watch my time. Okay. And so so when I went, it is very, it's a very open feeling, and you feel very welcome, no judgment. You see people in jeans, you see people in shorts, you see people in dresses. The pastor, sometimes he's wearing jeans. Sometimes his wife is wearing jeans. Sometimes his wife is wearing a dress. So there is no personal expectation of, oh, you're not wearing a dress, or, oh, you're wearing shorts. There's none of that judgmental feeling that I knew happened in my old church. And so it was it was a total different experience for me. So anyway, so I started going, and, of course I was along for the ride, just going through the motions, and over time, I decided, you know what, Terry, if you're going to start going to church, you need to start, you need to start building your relationship with God. So I have been, over the past, 6-8 months, I have been making sure I read the Bible and spending time in the Word. And I'm not a reader. I can read, but I don't like to read. So I actually do the online, the audiobook, or the audio version of the Bible. And so I let the Bible read to me. And so I do that every night. Sometimes, depending on my mood, I listen on my way to work. But anyway, so I have always been a believer, but I would just say in the past year and a half, I have been working on my relationship with God. So that is my testimony. It's not that I have, like some people have this like born again moment. I don't have that because I've always believed. I've always known I've just recently started coming back and spending time with God. So I don't have that big moment and sometimes I'm kind of like, man, that's kind of sad. I wish I had that moment. But then I'm also thankful that, I have the life I have and that I did grow up, because had I not grown up in church, I would not have known to come back to God, if that makes sense. So anyway, so that is that piece of it. So let me tell you about now. So because I did do the things that I did, because I was into the things that I was into with both of my previous husbands, I don't participate in that at all. I don't go online and watch things. I don't, that's not a part of my life anymore. But because it was, I have demons now. And I'm not saying that, oh, I have a devil that lives inside me. I mean, I don't understand fully how that works. And I don't need to understand how it works. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter, because I have Jesus in my life. So it doesn't matter how in my opinion, I don't really have to worry about this whole spiritual warfare, spiritual world, because I know Jesus wins and I don't have to worry about that. Jesus has that under control. But because of my past, those old feelings come up a lot. So I'll be reading the Bible and those thoughts will pop in my head. Those memories will pop in my head. Again, just the feelings that a female feels will pop up. And so I have to just lay there and I have to pray and pray and pray. And sometimes they eventually go away, but it takes a long time. But I think because, like Paul said, or whoever wrote that part of the Bible, because I let that part of my life happen, it is a sin against your own body. And I mean, I've forgiven myself and I know God forgives me. That's not an issue. But because it's a sin against your body, you might have to suffer for them for the rest of your life. So, I mean, like I said, because every day. And so when I'm laying there in bed, or sometimes I'm just sitting in a chair, or I'm, it doesn't matter. It just pops up and I have to just sit there and be like, all right, Jesus, 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 Jesus. Because, that's sometimes the only word that can take things away. So I just, like I said, I've had people ask me, what is my testimony? What is my story? And so, as inappropriate or whatever as it is, I just wanted to share it because it may be something somebody else is going through. And so, or, maybe you're young and you've never done the things that I've done. And so maybe you can prevent yourself from going through it. I don't know. But like I said, there's a lot going on in the world today. And I am so fortunate that I have God and Jesus in my life. And so if you're somebody who doesn't, then reach out. I'll happily talk to you about, that's not the only thing. I've been through 2 divorces and God gave me the strength to pull through it. God's been with me as I have been single for the past 12 years. And before that, I was single for 8 years. And, he's walked me through that. And he's walked me through death of people and family members. And so, God has been with me through everything that I've gone through. And every time I experience something bad, I lean on him, and that's what helps me through. So all of this story, or, my deal is to let you know that you're not alone. If you're going through something and you have done things in your past, it doesn't matter what you've done. You don't have to be like, well, whenever I do this, if I haven't done it for 5 weeks, then I'll go to church. Or if I haven't done this, then I'll go to church. No, don't. If you did it last night, if you did it this morning, and I don't mean you have to go to the building, but, watch online, do something, because God already knows what we've done. He knows everything. So you can't hide what you've done. And it doesn't matter if you walk into a church or if you watch online or if you just talk to him from your room. He knows who you are and he loves you and he just wants you to be part of his world. So, if you're hearing my story and you're hearing my voice and like I said, you want to talk to me ever, just email me. My email is in the description of all my videos. Just shoot me an email and I'm happy. I'll happy to talk to you. So yeah, but just know that he already knows. So if you do it, just go anyway. Don't wait until you think it's the right time, because that right time will never happen. Trust me, I know. So that, like I said, I just wanted to come on and share that because people have asked, and I've decided that, like I said, this is a rough year for us. For us all, this is a big year and there's a lot of division across the country, across the world. And so, it's not like times are going to get any easier. You know what I mean? It's not like all of a sudden the world is going to become some wonderful utopia until Jesus comes back. So if you are somebody who are struggling, you had a rough time at your church, and so you fell away from your church, it ain't about the church. I saw a meme, and what the church did to Jesus? The church killed Jesus. So it's not about the church. It's about a relationship. And if you feel like it's about belonging to a religion, then you're in the wrong religion. So anyway, that's what I want to talk about today. Yeah, that's my story, and I love you guys. And if you ever want to reach out and talk to me, feel free to do so. I love you guys, and yeah, that's what I got. Bye.